Hello YouTube, Infinite Magicraid community, Gandalf here. I'm going to try to cover the sensitive topic of free-to-play versus pay-to-win a bit because I know, there's a lot of feedback and players saying that, the game is heavily monetized, or paying players saying, a lot of new heroes coming out and, it's difficult to keep up. I think, going back to one of the videos I made a long time ago about, managing expectations is I don't think as a free to play, this is a game where you want to say that, hey, I want to compete against other pay to win players, especially the whales. Like the difference is going to be too great to be set apart. Like if you're spent like why would if think about it from the other perspective, right? If someone spends $1,000 and they can't, clobber or beat a free to play, how would they feel about the game then, right? Like that's kind of the nature of gacha games, right? And actually any game that's kind of monetized where you're exchanging money for advantages in the game, right? If you're not getting the advantage, then why would they spend in the first place? Um, and from a content perspective, right? The game is not designed to be finished, all content, right? So for example, here we can see in the ranking, the highest is only stage 31 for some of these stages. Let's see, direct damage probably maybe a little bit higher. 32, right? 32 is the highest, but it goes up to stage 40. Likewise, planar rift people haven't finished. It was only very recent people finished stage 39, 40 on Endless Cloister, right? So new content isn't meant to be finished in this game. It doesn't matter if you're the biggest whale in the game. Like it just that leaves room for them to release new heroes, whatnot. Um, the other part I'll say about is how much does it cost to play this game? It's a lot less than we started the game years ago. There's two ways to go about it. First, I'll talk about the free to play, right? So, for example, Abel is the deputy here, and he's a very experienced player from a free to play perspective. He didn't show his heroes, but you can actually see his progression, right? Like he's able to get to King in Classic Arena. Advance, he got to here. He finished the level below on the record high over here in the King division, right? From a dungeon perspective, he finished all of his tower, his abyss. He's further on the abyss than me, surprisingly. Purgatory needs a little bit more. Ultimate trial, planar rifts, right? Like not sure why it says difficulty level 1. Achievements, I mean, but looking at someone else who spent, right? Like he's able to do okay. He's like mid of the pack within the entire group, considering the guild is full of spenders, right? Then you go look at one of our newest members. Okay, Luna joined, started the game on server 116, and when we talked to her, she shared with us it's around $600 or so. She really just went really hard for Airtool on the $100 packs over time. I was like, how did you get the Muro? And she's like, well, I got really lucky, and she showed us her summoning record. She got 2 copies of Muro back to back. Those were her only summons. So if you're a paying player and if you're lucky, this could be as much as someone who could have had to spend like 1,000 or 1,200 to get to this in a short span of 5 weeks, right? So RNG plays a huge factor in this game, which leads to the next point, right? If you are a new player, like people who started last week and got a Lance, that's gonna be like the best DPS hero for I don't know how long until they come up with something with more power creep. But Lance is pretty much top DPS right now. And when you're having a top DPS like that, it'll carry you through a lot of content as long as you can survive the content, right? So with that, I kind of want to demonstrate a little bit. And we all got showering as well. Showering is great. You can see I just finished stage 40. And the reason I finished stage 40 was because I had a team like this. And not only was Airtoll there key to provide the damage, but the other part is also about helping me survive. Murom and Airtoll provide a huge amount of survivability from a damage reduction perspective. But even at higher stages like stage 40, you still get one shot, even with Murom, right? You still get one shot. So the fact that you can only take maximum 25% health damage for the first couple bursts, 2 rounds, it makes your life a lot easier, and you're surviving with lower stats basically, and you're able to clear this content. So what I expect is a team like this at this stage, especially once I get one more copy of Santa to kind of give me a little bit more margin for error, I will start be able to farm consistently on 40, hopefully, across all the different stages I need to farm, which is a huge win in terms of gearing up quickly. Now, if ideally I will have something like this at E2, but I don't have that yet. But this is for a lot of the recent players joining the game. If you're whaling, this is kind of the power of whaling. To if you spend on the right heroes, you can really get a leg up on the competition. But it's again, like if you're lucky, you don't have to spend as much. If you're unlucky, you need to spend a little bit more. But if you're free to play, that's not who you want to compete against. And the game has given us options. So here's stage 35 on a completely free to play friendly setup, right? And I'm going to quickly just show you my gear just so that you see it's not, disproportionate, right? Like it's not all mythic pieces, right? It's just like usually the boots or a faction piece that's decent that I upgraded. Nothing too extreme stats wise. Here's the Santa. I'll just quickly show it. Shouting the attack and the mastery there. Okay. Nordak, the speed, HP. Catherine, make sure Catherine just a little bit faster than your Nordak. Okay. Here's the Hazanja, right? Even Hazanja is making it to this team because he's a decent wave clear, right? So, let's see how this performs, right? This is as free-to-play friendly as possible, I would think, right? Santa you can get copies of. That's why I say for free-to-play, pick up those Santa copies. Hazanja, you should be able to get hopefully E2 during the challenge. Just make sure you use those 20 regressions in a careful way, and you should be able to hit those 400 on Faction Abyss. What you can do to optimize your early game experience is to reroll. And if you look at the reroll tier list, there are multiple heroes that will serve in the place of showering, especially if you're starting not if you didn't start yet, or you're new to the game, or you weren't around for the anniversary. Lance was a really good one. Moricus is another really good one. You could, in theory, replace that with I think IMR Candle is a stretch. But other than that, I mean, those are the top heroes come to mind recently in terms of really heavy hitting DPS heroes that has been introduced to the game, right? But Catherine, Nordak, Santa will provide you a solid base for anything up to stage 35 on all of the different dungeons, right? Hazanja is going to get replaced by Little Jack after you finish E3 Santa. So if you just play a little bit longer, and you will get a rainbow chest to pick up Little Jack, that will make the mastery boosting and overall things a little bit more manageable. Here things gets just a little bit dangerous looking. The boss do hit hard, and sometimes if we're not careful, we could potentially get one shot. But I think so far we're looking safe. As long as the ads die and the shields are going up, yep, I think we're okay. So from a setup perspective, right, just make sure that you save Catherine's skills, and you don't, you can always fine tune these skills. The biggest issue with using Catherine over some other heroes is the double turn mechanic. The double turn mechanic often make her loses her buffs prematurely. For example, what you just saw right there, right, where Nordak had the damage immunity on her, but then the double turn got rid of it. Fortunately enough, Nordak quickly covered after. So this is the part where I say, speed tuning is super important. If you haven't seen my speed tuning videos, it applies in both PvP and PvE. You want your Catherine to be just one speed faster than that Nordak, so that things like that is less likely to happen. But you can see how much damage Showing is dishing out, right? It's really a race against time, and we, for the most part, we're perfectly safe because the amount of damage she does. And you can see her damage in relationship to to Hazanja. Hazanja really helped in terms of the wave clearing. And what you want to do is bring, an AoE hero and a direct damage hero and the remaining 3. So this kind of shows that, as a free-to-play, you are given the resources to clear majority of the content, right? Like, you saw me whale on this account, or if you think, 100 a week is considered as whaling, I can assure you that is not whaling at all. If you look at the distribution of the spenders. Here, I'm still stuck on stage 30 because you need a solid direct damage dealer to beat that. Like, none of my lineup will help, right? Spending the amount I have spent, and I've been keeping track. So looking at the age of my account, right? For every week, it's $100 on this account, just so you can get the perspective, right? The progression, you are able to sustain, top, very competitive, top 5, top 10 on the server. On the classic arena, you can as well. But when it comes to the zone, you're probably going to be able to finish in the top 64, but you're going to float around the 20 to 30 mark. I don't get into the finals very often. I usually finish around top 16. If I'm lucky, I get into top 8. Right? So if you spend 100 every week, that's where you can realistically expect. So hopefully this kind of puts things in perspective. If you're free to play, just enjoy the game. Compete against people who are also other free to play players. And with that, I want to close off with a few announcements. And I really I forget. I should be doing ads at the beginning, but I hope people have listened till the end. One thing is Guild versus Guild is coming up, right? So I want to draw attention to the main Discord here. And on the main Discord, you will find that right under the, hold on, sorry about that. Share screen. You will see that under game discussion, and then if you just scroll down a little bit more, you will see the guild recruitments. We really want to make sure that people are aware that as a guild leader, you should reach out to Barnes or just go to Game Talk, right? At Barnes, right? Just let Barnes know that you are a guild leader, and you will get access to be able to post in this channel. Like, for example, I don't actually have the permission to post in this channel, right? So this is something we need to fix. Is if you're a guild leader and you want to help recruit for your guild, because we're gonna have great guild content that's coming up, right? So if you're not a guild leader, you can go to any of these posts and you still can reply to the thread, right? But you have to be a guild leader to be able to create a post here. So highly encourage all the new guild leaders, because we do need a lot of guilds. We want the game to be diverse. And if you ever want to promote your guild and you need a shout out, like just I've been doing a lot of shout out for the older guilds just because they know me. But if you need a shout out to just get your guild out there, leave a comment. Leave a comment, and I will give a shout out to your guild the next time, and hopefully that'll help you with your recruiting. But message Barnes, get your guild posted, because we need a lot of guilds. New guild versus guild content is coming up, and you don't even need a full guild to compete, right? You just need a team of 4 to 5 people. So if you're with a group of friends of players, right, like that, you want to get into this game, and and you want to compete as a team, you can just have a team of 4 to 5, and you could be a small group of friends that are dolphins, and you could have this really strong guild with just a small group of people. You might not be able to do some of the larger guild content that requires more people, but as a small group, you can even still compete in the new guild versus guild content. So a lot of great guilds here. Many are well established. Just going here, you can post and respond, and I'm sure someone will reply to you, and so you can join their guild. And now new players can join some of the older guilds. It makes this whole process a lot easier too. But new guilds, new guild leaders, go message Barnes. Just at Barnes, right? Barnes or Barn. Like if you just Barn. I guess this whole thing, you need to disable this. So you can see Barnes at Barnes, and you can message Barnes to get your status, or talk to any of the mods in Discord. Hopefully they will be able to give you your status as a guild leader and post here. So hopefully that's really helpful. And looking forward to it. I hope this discussion was helpful for you. In the sense that, it will help. Here's Booms, right? Like that's why Okay, yeah, see? People are reaching out to me. So Karzak here, good old Karzak promoting the Bulls community. I am going to. And, with the promotion, we got Guild 102 very successful, right? So if you need an advertisement, just drop in the comments below. There you go, right? Like I'm going to, endorse Karzak and the crew here shortly after as I post this video. But yeah, would love to see the community really grow, flourish. This game is free to play friendly. Like I have played a lot. Um, just make sure you just level set and have the right expectation, right? To achieve the account of the main account that I used, right? This is what probably $50,000 to $70,000 spent, maybe, right? I don't know how much the person who gifted me the account spent, but looking at the amount invested in this account, even if it's just $100 for limited, for echoes and stuff, it adds up. Not everybody spends it like that, but then don't expect to compete yourself against someone like that, right? I will compete against people who spend maybe on the same level as me, right? Don't just enjoy the game. Don't compare yourself to other people. If you want to compete, at least compete in your own bracket, right? So with that, and moreover, what I'll say about the game is it's constantly having new content. So that means RNG has a huge role to play, right? Like you saw in a recent video where on this account I was trying desperate to get miracle heroes, but every time I go to full pity and it takes 3, it's gonna drain my resources like crazy. But on another account you saw I got really lucky and got an early lance, right? Or I got Muron on the low spending account very quickly compared against this one, which went to pity almost every time. So even among spenders, sometimes RNG would diversify the account power drastically as well. So with that, just enjoy the game, right? Enjoy the game. Spend within your limit. And people are asking me if the new hero is good. Yes, Decora is good. Decora is a PvP focused hero. And but if you're expecting him for PvE, or you're at a point of game where PvE is your primary focus and you're not there to compete against other players, skip him. You don't need him. All right. But for people who are spending, you notice that at the bottom of the screen, my code is up. So get Aptoid. If you're not familiar with Aptoid, I'll make sure that there's instruction in the description below. But if you're not familiar with it, I'll probably cover Aptoid in an upcoming video again as the discount code goes live. So with that, I wish you a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Gandalf out.